Christmas! Hey, welcome to Tobacco Advent 2018, day 25, Christmas Day, the day we've been counting down, counting up to.
Yeah.
Pretty exciting. I'm Scott from Aristocob.com.
I'm Seth from SethMarkwood.com.
And together, the three of us, we are Markwood Men's Breakfast Club. Welcome back once again to Tobacco Advent 2018, day 25, a.k.a. Christmas. Morning, boy.
Good
Merry
morning.
Christmas.
Thank you. Thank you. Merry Christmas to you. So, I don't know that we could have picked a better day 25 envelope. We take the envelopes, you labeled them, and just pick them at random. So we don't know what's in them when we open them up. As we were opening this one, I was reading through the note that accompanied it and said, hey, let's stop, because this is perfect for Christmas Day. So this came wrapped as a gift. You can go ahead and open that up, because I'll read this. This is Scott and Boy. Enclosed, I have Lane 1Q. Although both of you are very familiar with this blend taste, I felt compelled to pay homage to both of you with it. Aristocob allowed my girlfriend and I to get into the pipe hobby, and Lane 1Q was our first smoke. We're still green in our pipe adventure, so we very much appreciate y'all's educational content plus your entertainment. Thank you for all y'all do. Your friend and neighbor, Austin from Thomasville, North Carolina.
Wow. Thank you, Austin.
What a way to celebrate Christmas.
Fantastic.
Oh,
Thomasville, man, that's right down the road.
yeah, neighbor for sure. This is great.
All right, Austin, you made my day.
What
a wonderful, wonderful day.
Yeah, awesome. I'm grateful that you did this. There's somebody the other day said they were going to send some Lane 1Q and sent something else and said, I think this might be in 150 plus episodes the first time we've received Lane 1Q too.
You think so?
I think it might be. I think because we talk about it somebody talks about it so much.
Like a corn cob being everybody's favorite pipe, Lane 1Q is every corn cob pipe's favorite tobacco.
Right. I have heard that before. We were talking the other day about how Lane 1Q is the most sold tobacco, but I wonder if that will stay the case now that pipe shops have to disclose what's in their blend. I wonder if it has been the #1 selling because it has been used as a base in so many blends at local tobacconist level.
That's true. That's true. Well, it's also been every shop's top selling tobacco.
Right.
Right. I mean,
right. But they don't advertise it as Lane 1Q. I wonder if the name and knowing what it is will discourage people from buying it so much. But I mean, it doesn't change the fact that people like it.
It does taste so much like Brendan's Choice from JR's. Wow. Perfect. All right, so let's get to today's question. I'm getting down to the bottom here.
Next.
Was that a veto?
Sure. It's Christmas Day.
Should we next it?
Next.
Okay. Hey. All right. Just look at them.
Yeah, I'm
come on.
going to look at them. Because this is Christmas Day. We should have... oh, that was pretty good. I don't know. Do you have any...
No, just pick one. Surprise me.
Okay. What is one question you wish people would ask more often?
Okay.
So I don't know if I've talked about this recently or not. I think I have. I don't know. Maybe not. I have been reading through a book that is excellent on communication. It's on social networking. It's a communication book, and it's hard. It's called Captivating. And one of the things in there that has really changed the way that I have engaged at social events is they have done this testing where they have found that when you ask somebody, what do you do? It's really a conversation killer because they answer the question and then there's no follow-up. You can say, oh, that's interesting, right? It's normally the best you get out of it. And so they have this list of similar questions. They have tested these out. They're scientifically have been studied and tested to see which ones create the best ongoing conversation. And so I think we did talk about this recently because my favorite from the bunch is the question, do you have any interesting projects that you're working on? And that as a conversation starter, it's funny. I have had conversations where I will ask that instead of asking somebody, what do you do? I've had 1 or 2 instances where people say, well, do you know what I do? No, tell me. And they tell me, but then they immediately start talking about a project that they have at work without giving any context. Sometimes I'll ask that and they tell me something that they're working on as a hobby. It is a great question, a great question starter. And so, open-ended questions, conversation starting questions, I wish people would do more of that because it just leads to some much richer, fuller conversations.
Yeah. So what's the one question which people would ask you?
The one question I wish people would ask more often. What's the question, right?
What was it?
I think do you have any interesting projects you're working on?
That's a question you would like people to ask you?
Yeah. I can deal with that. I wish people would ask that because I do struggle in answering the question, what do you do? Because people expect a certain answer, and I struggle with that because what I do is complicated. It's difficult to explain, and so I've tinkered with what my answer to that question is. Sometimes it's as simple as I do sales, even though I don't, but that's something people understand. Sometimes it's more complicated, and I say that I help restaurants meet code expectations, and sometimes it's really deep and altruistic and say, I help protect the environment. I help restaurants protect the environment. I help cities protect their sewer infrastructure. But all of those require unpacking, and it's just not a fun way. If someone asks, what's an interesting project you're working on, I'll say, great question. I work with, and I jump into it. I work with cities, and just last week I was in Miami, Florida, and got to give a presentation to such and such, and I'm planning a trip to Ireland and the UK, and all of these other things that are going on that you tell them about your job. You get the opportunity, but to do that, but it's a lot more interesting. I get to talk about the fun parts of my job. Just what do I do? Mostly I write emails and call people on the phone. You get down to it. So.
All right, I have 2 answers for this, and one is very Christmassy, right?
Okay.
I've had on a number of occasions where people have asked me completely from out of the blue, are you a Christian? And they ask it in such a way because I think they sense it. Right? I like that. The next one's kind of completely trivial compared to that one. But I love that conversation and where that leads, right?
So you wish that people would ask that more often?
I would like that my light would shine enough that would be a conversation starter, right? Now, this one's a real trivial one, and you know this because these are the kind of questions you ask me that light me up. And anytime someone asks me a question like this, I enjoy the conversation. It's a question like, did you see the latest video from Rhett and Link? Have you read that new book on selling techniques? Did you read the book? By the way, have you seen the book, How to Wash a Chicken?
No.
Especially when it's something that, to me, is current, it's interesting. Did you see Philip DeFranco's latest video? Did you see Casey Neistat responding to all the feedback on the YouTube Rewind video? Do you see that? And lots of those. So to me, those are conversation starters. If I'm getting selfish and I like a question about those things that I'm interested in, I love questions. Every now and then I'll get a question from somebody at work who will say, outside of work, I'm in the process of building something. I've got this table I'm trying to build. What would you recommend for a finish? Have you resawn anything? What kind of bandsaw blades do you recommend? I love those kind of questions that tap into my passions and my expertise.
That's interesting. That's interesting you say that about your question. Because the have you seen question have you seen question from a lot of people is a very self-serving, selfish question because what it's doing is the person says yes, and then you talk about it briefly, right, and it's a conversation ender.
No, not for me.
Well, if I say yes, I've seen that.
No, but you and I go, because if it's something, it's enough that you bring it up. We're going to have a conversation about it, right? You don't. I mean, here's the problem. My problem is I will ask that question of some people, and there's nothing. It's like, no idea what you're talking about. If you don't know who Rhett and Link are, oh my gosh, I'm not sure I can be your friend.
Right, but if they don't know that, the reason why I say it's a tricky question is if they don't know who that is. What it does is it puts you in a position where you have to do all of the talking.
That's what I'm saying. You're I like the question.
Right, I know. What I'm saying is, some people ask that question as a way for them to talk. Right. As a way for them to talk about something they're passionate about. And so from a conversational side, I understand you wish people would ask you that question more often. From a conversational side, there are a lot of times where I wish people wouldn't have those questions because it's just an excuse. Like I was with a guy who asked somebody, "Hey, do you have any dogs?" He's asking a customer we're with, "Hey, do you have any dogs?" And the customer says, "Oh yeah, I have a dog." And he used the question as an excuse to talk for 10 minutes about the dog that he has. Right? And he's like, "Oh yeah, me too. I have this dog, blah 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 blah." Right? And so it's at that point, it's not a conversational question, and maybe that's a key differentiator. It's not a conversational question; it's a lead-in question to let's choose the subject I want to talk about. So
that's what I'm saying.
I know, but it's different. It's different if you're wanting to be the recipient.
Let me tell you about this. Back when I was managing a retail store for Shopsmith, I had 2 buttons made for my guys. One of them had a silhouette of the Shopsmith machine, and it simply said how many years. Part of it was to identify people coming into our store who own the equipment. So we would then know, is this person here to buy a $3,000 machine, or are they here maybe for a class or for an addition onto it? And the people would see that, they'd say, "Hey, yeah, I've had my Shopsmith now for 15 years. And that was always a fun way of getting the conversation going. Yeah. And it led us to we knew not to try to drag the guy over to the Shopsmith equipment, but to just have that conversation about woodworking. My other button that we had made that was one of my favorite just simply said, ask me to make sawdust. Because if you went into Sears and looked at their tools, there was not an outlet in the tool section at Sears. They were afraid you were going to plug it in. We would run any tool. You want to see the planer being used? You want to see the scroll saw? Come on, let's use it. You know, you get in here, you try this thing. That was always so much fun. And by having that ask me to make sawdust button, we, years later, in another similar business, had name tags made, and beneath the name tag it said, ask me to make sawdust. And my daughter was there during our grand opening, and hers said, Dana, ask me to ask my dad to make sawdust. Huh. And it was fun. But similar thing, you know, that if I could walk around with a shirt on that said, ask me about woodworking, ask me about YouTube, ask me about those things. If I'm walking through the airport in Atlanta, I know I walk around, I think there's so many people here that have similar interests that I would love to just be able to stop and have a conversation. And I've been tempted to get something obnoxious like this that would call me out as a woodworker, a pipe smoker, whatever. So
we can design that. Be very, very specific. YouTube logo, pipe, food, Shopsmith, sure.
Yeah.
You can do that.
You would have to have a big burger on it or something.
Yeah, for sure.
Or keto, something.
Maybe put all of those things inside of a bun. Inside of a big bun.
A big hobby sandwich.
Yeah.
Low carb bread.
That's right. Yeah.
Hey, what do you think of that tobacco? I know that's something you've never smoked before.
Yeah, it feels very comfortable. It's nice, yeah.
I didn't pack enough in there again. I'm
kind of problem, man.
Well, because we've gotten used to many of those that we've smoked here recently have been flakes, and so you don't pack a lot of that in there. And what I should have done is I should have just grabbed a big pipe and loaded that sucker up and smoked it.
You should have got my Dr. Graybo.
Dr. Graybo?
No, Dr. What am I thinking?
Your lumberjack?
My lumberjack, yeah. Thank you so much for the gift of 1Q. Thank you to everyone who has been watching Tobacco Advent. I hope that you have a wonderful Christmas day. We will have a Tobacco Advent. Last Tobacco Advent of 2018 will be tomorrow. Then we will be taking a break until the new year. Also, if you haven't been watching, we have Mark Woodman's Breakfast Club's videos all throughout the December we've been posting as we've been smoking through the German tobacco as well.
We know that...
So in fact, there will be a Mark Woodman's Breakfast Club tomorrow.
We know that with Christmas, a lot of folks are getting a little bit of a break. They're maybe catching up with the videos. So I would like for us to extend the VR contest to the end of the year.
Okay.
We'll do our drawing then at the end of the year, and our winner will be chosen from among those who have posted VR. So if you want to go back and watch a video and 1 or 7 of those inspire you to shoot some VRs, do it. Do individual VRs to count for individual entries. Post those VRs on the day that the question is that you're asking, and that way folks in the future can also find those videos. Sounds fair?
Great. Yeah.
All right.
Sounds great.
All right. Well, enjoy your Christmas. Make it a great day, and we will see you again tomorrow for our last day of Tobacco Advent.
See ya.